Got a moment? Of course you do. You're already here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the very first episode of my brand new podcast. And it's a video podcast too, if you're listening, that is. It's called The Moment, which you also know already, and it's going to be exactly that. It's me dissecting whatever I think is the important cultural moment of that day that you need to know about too. It's kind of like what I've always done for the last 30 or so years on radio and TV. I know, she looks 22, which is basically to share things that I think are important that you need to know about. So I curate and you participate. Simple as that. Because I'm chronically online, I would be doing this anyway. In fact, I do it anyway, not just for work. And it's, for me, a way to justify my bad activity online because I get to say I'm doing it for work purposes. Win-win. What's exciting about all of this is that I've been wanting to do something like this, my very own podcast, for such a long time. But don't worry, while it is mostly me, and it will be mostly me on here, I'm not going to be alone the entire time. I'm going to have guests along the way that can bring their expert intel on any topic that you need to know about, because I'm no expert on everything. And I'll also have special guests who'll come in for a chat as well, including friends and some creative folk who I think are having a bit of a moment themselves. So never fear, I am not going to go all Joe Rogan and do a 40-hour podcast of just me chatting. That's not it. A, because, look, nobody's got time for that. B, I don't have that much to say. And C, I haven't yet gone down that conspiracy theory or supplements wormhole, so it's not my audience. Well, not yet anyway, unless, of course, some of those NAD supplements want to sponsor the show. That's fine. I can look into it. I'm happy. So I'll be here for you quite regularly, 3 times a week, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. And in even more terrifying news, it'll also be a video podcast, so you can see it on YouTube too. And you get to see this in all its glory. And look, I'm not sure why anyone wants to watch me in my house recording, but this is the way of the future, and I do love a trend. So as you know, I will embrace a trend even if it does me no favours, and here I am. Might work out really well. I'm enjoying it thus far. But look, I have a feeling that my presentation standards might go down a little bit. At the moment, my hair's clean and I've put some makeup on, but I reckon by about week 4 or 5, it'll just be me from my bed with the dog in my pajamas with crumbs all over me. Fingers crossed it won't. But thank you. Thank you for trusting me and joining me and getting on board this brand new project of mine. I really do appreciate it. But thankfully, I don't mean getting on board like perhaps getting on board a cruise ship where you can't get off once you're on, and then it turns into your worst nightmare because not only are there other people on the ship just awful people, the power goes out. So all the toilets block, and then the whole thing just turns to literal, and so I tried too. This is not that kind of on board, okay? You are free to come and go as you like. I'll just be here forever, bring in your content, just like those poor musicians on the Titanic who went down with their ship. I'll be just telling my little stories and playing my little tunes regardless of what's going on. But I'll be keeping the vibe going. That'll be the good thing while the world collapses around us, which I've got to say it seems to be doing a bit of right now. So I'm here to bring the joy to you as well. That cruise ship analogy is quite a good one though. Coincidentally, it reminds me of an actual doco about that very subject of being trapped on an unpowered cruise. You might have seen it. I'm sure you have. You know I've seen it. It's trash. It's called Poop Cruise. Yep, you knew I was going to go there, didn't you? Look, it's not something I'm that proud to recommend to you on my very first podcast. And for those who are coming here for perhaps more sophisticated, high art things, it will get better than this, I promise. It's not just poop cruise material, because I can go very high and I can also go very low. And today I chose to go low, just so everyone's comfortable. But I saw Poop Cruise, get this, at the dentist's. Can you believe it? All right. they offer TV on the roof and they're scratching away at your mouth. What do you want to watch? I didn't know. I was like, what do I watch at the dentist? But here's my recommendation. If you are ever reclined in your chair while you're wearing your speed dealer sunnies, you know the ones, and that bib to catch all your dribble because you've lost control of half your face, well, Poop Cruise is actually the perfect watch. I probably wouldn't recommend watching it at any other time, but this doco does pair quite nicely with Happy Gas as well. And look, I think it's important to think your choices through when you're watching anything in a public space, like at the dentist or on a plane, because people will see what you're watching. And I'm very glad I didn't choose something else that a friend told me was amazing, because it could have been very embarrassing for me and for them as well. The TV series I'd been recommended and wanted to start was called The Hunting Wives, okay? And all I heard about it was that it was just trash-tastic and soapy and great little TV show. So right up my alley. Tick. It was only a bit later that I heard someone else call it porny and horny, which again, of course, will have me watching. However, it's clearly not something that's safe to watch at the dentist or in a public space. I did eventually watch it, and it is porny and horny, and I'm going to be talking about it with a special guest later this week. Back to the podcast. While I'm sitting here alone, I'm not actually doing this alone. Frankly, I'm terrible at the production side of things, so fortunately, I am working on this with the gorgeous folk at MIK Studios. Thank you to them, and special shout out to my beautiful producers who will no doubt appear on screen and in your ears from time to time, the beautiful Amelia and Rosh, and I am #blessed to be working with such angels. Thank you. And also, they've given me the courage to go for it and be authentically me on this project. As part of that, I've been granted editorial control, which I think will last as long as I don't muck it up. So fingers crossed on that one. But to be perfectly honest, I've always wanted to do something like this, a podcast of my own, but I haven't had the guts or the confidence up until now to do it. I wasn't sure I could. Broadcasting isn't new to me, obviously. I've done radio and television, and I've podcasted with my dear friend Zan Rowe on our much-loved Bang On podcast. But it's always been through a media company with its own parameters and rules, and that's totally fine. This, however, is all on my shoulders, and that's a challenge I think I needed at this point in my life. We all need new challenges. But I also didn't think I could put myself out there, as I didn't yet have the confidence to just be authentically myself. It's funny, isn't it? Like, you'd think someone who works in the media would, but I really genuinely wasn't sure I could do it. And I think hitting midlife has also helped with that, because I've found a little bit of, how do the crows say it, a bit of fuck it energy. Because what's to lose at this point at midlife other than your bone density? Which is very real, and I don't want to make jokes about such things, but it's kind of true too. And I think I got a bit more of that energy last week. It was a bit of a sad week. I went to 2 funerals of much-loved relatives of mine, and I was there and I was watching the photo montages of their lives, and something came to me. I realised that a life well lived is not actually about what you've achieved at all. Rather, it's what makes you unashamedly you, that your friends and your family love the most. And I feel like I want to tap into more of what makes me unashamedly me, because I think even though I work in a public world, I'm pretty used to hiding a lot of that stuff, except for my friends and for my family. So from both funerals, it was like a revelation. It's the funny bits, it's the weird bits, it's the strange hobbies, it's the turn of phrases that make people laugh. It's the specific little things that you did that no one else does. It's the in-jokes. It's the things like that people remember and love about you. And that's what I loved about my relatives. So I want to get into that a bit more. I'll give you an example. At my gorgeous Auntie Jude's funeral, she said goodbye with her trusty can of Taft hairspray, you know, that green can that hasn't changed since the 1950s. Well, that had pride of place next to her coffin, and we all laughed about it, and that is exactly what she would have wanted, because you see, Jude, she had beautiful, beautiful hair, beautiful bouffant hair, and she would never go anywhere without it lacquered up to perfection, set to perfection. And we loved her for it, and we laughed with her about it, and we celebrated that about her at the end of her life. She would have loved it. We knew who she was. She knew who she was. And it's all about that, really, getting to know who we are. So for me, it's not just about whether or not this podcast works or doesn't and it's a success. I mean, look, it would be nice if it does work. So tell all your friends to subscribe, tap, or finger. Oh, you can't say finger, can you? Don't let me near anything. Yeah, and it's more about wanting to be authentically me and show you who I truly am as well. And hopefully you'll feel the same towards me. As for the show, though, I've given you a basic rundown, but this is it in a little more detail. I'll be here in your feeds 3 days a week. It's quick takes on the big news from the ever-changing cultural landscape, and it can change as quickly as the weather outside as it's blowing a gale. This week on The Moment, we are partnered with LifeChanger. Now, LifeChanger is an incredible organisation that works in the mental health space, in particular with young people, but also works with teachers and parents, giving advice and programs to help them through life. It's great work. We're really proud to partner with them. And Scott Waters joins me now to tell us all about LifeChanger. Hello, Scott.
Morning, Myf. How are you?
I'm good. Can you tell me what the dream is behind LifeChanger?
Well, I've always been a huge believer in the power of young people. I'm also a dad with 3 teenage boys, and I know there's lots of different challenges, and our programs build their social, emotional and resilient skills. And I'm a huge believer that every young person has the capacity to find their way through if we give them a little bit of support, some tools to use along the way. And we're a better society when we have young people thriving.
Thank you so much, Scott, for taking a moment with me to explain all about LifeChanger. Now, if you'd like to partner up with me here on The Moment, then we are open to any kind of conversation. All the contact details will be in the show notes if you can find them. I can never find the show notes, but we'd love to partner with you. Come on board. I've always been of the belief that what we watch, hear, write, create, wear or make is not only a reflection of our culture, it drives our culture. So while many folks, especially at the moment, try to dismiss the arts as less serious and frivolous, I think it is important to dissect all of it. Not just the highbrow, but I don't discriminate and I don't think we should. It's all important and it has something to say. So that's why I want to bring you the moment that you need to hear about each day. And I want to dissect the moment and be joined by people who know about that moment and they can share their knowledge and insights so you can take that moment and do with it what you want. It'll be part cultural critique and it'll be newsy, I guess, although let's not lean too heavily into the newsy part of it because if you know me and you've listened to me, you know I'm not capable of making that kind of podcast, the one that's full of facts. You're not here for facts, all right? You're here for a bit of info in it and some good takes. Yeah, I just want to share that info and hopefully it'll help make your day a little bit easier or a little bit better, whatever you choose. And look, if the algorithm has brought you here purely because you know me as the voice of Aunt Trixie or you hear that voice, welcome. And I am actually doing the voice of Aunt Trixie right now simply because I have absolutely no acting range and my voice doesn't change for the character because Trixie is me. Like Aunt Trixie, who's mother of Muffin, the chaos agent on Bluey, I only ever turn up for parties or to take mum away for a break and a drink, and I have a big problem with eating all of the chips. So clearly I am typecast and I've got to say I love it. Anyways, welcome aboard to this very first episode. This is your captain speaking. Or if you ever watched that classic 1970s television show, The Love Boat, which I used to watch as a kid, I reckon I'm more the vibe of Julie, the cruise director, in her snazzy kind of twin set, jort twin set. That's right. She looked great in a jort. But it is time for us to set sail. I won't muck around anymore and let's set sail together and head into the sunset, shall we? If I did have a bottle of champagne, I would smash it. Oh, I just smashed my cuppa. I would smash it on the hull of something, but I don't have a hull and I don't have any champagne right now, but I will at some point. But it's a good thing I can't smash a bottle right now, because the first rule of the moment is that we don't waste champagne around here. Instead, I'm going to share with you a toast about champagne, which makes sense, often attributed to philosopher Francis Bacon, although apparently it's much older than him. It comes from much earlier, but look, who cares anyway? Here it is. Oh, I'm cheersing, aren't I? Champagne for my real friends, real pain for my sham friends. How's that for a cheers? Well, if you've made it this far into the podcast today, I consider you my real friend. So all the celebratory champagne for you, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. And let's be honest, I don't actually want to wish any kind of real pain on anyone, even my sham friends. As long as you like, subscribe and tap and whatever, you are welcome around these parts. Even if you hate watching, I don't mind. We're all guilty of it. Welcome aboard. Maybe you'll turn around and like it eventually. Who knows? But thanks for joining me on this exciting new adventure. And guess what? I've got another episode coming out for you tomorrow. It's quick. It's a quick turnaround. I'm working hard. She's booked and busy, but I'll see you then. This is an MIK made production recorded on Wurundjeri land. Always was and always will be Aboriginal land.